I wrote down hectic because right now there are a lot of moving pieces. I'm in school, I have work. On the side, I'm doing my photography. I'm still the eldest daughter. I have responsibilities at home. So there's a lot of moving pieces. I'm juggling a lot. Yeah, I describe it as hectic right now.
Welcome to the Third Layer Creative Series, where we speak to individuals in pursuit of their personal passions. Through these conversations, we will learn who they are and how it bleeds into their craft. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with a very gifted photographer, jewelry designer, and creative director, Kadija. Kadija, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Can't complain. Happy to have you here. So let's get right into it. How was the gallery yesterday?
It was really amazing, honestly. I had low expectations because I don't want to like be disappointed, but honestly, all my people showed out, and if they didn't show out, they texted me. I got so much love from the other photographers. Um, it was a really dope experience. It's like my first time ever displaying my art.
Hmm.
So yeah, I would say 10 out of 10.
Nice.
Yeah.
How did the opportunity present itself?
I saw a submission. I follow AMPM because my friend's the director. She's also an amazing artist. She makes these hats that she decorates, and
Hmm.
she's been like selling them to like celebrities like Smino and Lotto and stuff. So she's an amazing artist herself. But I submitted my photography, and I got back like maybe like 3 days ago that I was selected. So it was short notice, but I made it happen.
So you said this was your first gallery, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
So how does uh, it look or feel to present your work in a gallery versus in the social media space? Is one more daunting than the other, you would say?
I low key feel like it's more daunting on social media because sometimes you might not get the likes, you might not get the repost, or you feel like you should have gotten more visibility on social media. But then in real life, I know my people are gonna be there to support me. Like you're
Yeah.
in my face supporting me. You know what I mean? It's more community based. People are mingling and talking. So I would say it's more daunting on social media. I personally kind of don't care anymore about the likes and everything because I know that doesn't mean that the algorithm is weird. Like
Yeah,
you know,
social media is all like fake.
it's yeah. So it's like definitely. I guess I would say social media, but
So you're gonna do more galleries, I suppose, in the future?
I hope so. There are some galleries that like routinely kind of pick out photographers like Monad. So I definitely in the future want to do that, but right now I'm just really building my portfolio and trying to put out like serious work. I never want to put out work that's like too casual because I'm like
Okay.
film is expensive and you have to
It
pay for
definitely is,
film
yeah.
development and all that. So I am like really against like wasting my film on miscellaneous projects. I want to be really intentional with what I put out.
So everything's very meaningful.
Yeah, I try to like make everything meaningful for the most part.
Okay. And so I want to start or go back to the very beginning of the entire creative journey for you. So when's the first time you remember picking up a camera?
I'm sure I picked up a camera before high school, but I would say I officially like picked up a camera in high school. There was like I think it was just like a moment where film was brought back, and I remember my friend bringing it up to me, showing me the photos he had developed and everything, and I was like, "Oh, I'm into this. I want to do this." So I had gotten a disposable camera from like Walgreens or something, and I took photos on it, and I went and developed it. Till this day, I still go to the same developer, so she's literally seen me grow up for like 10 years now.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I guess that would be like the first time that I truly was like, okay, I'm gonna take a camera, I'm gonna take photos, and I'm gonna develop it, and it's mine. I'm gonna put it in a book, and it's like an intentional thing for myself.
Hmm. And when did the use of Pentax, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How long have you used that camera for?
Okay. I'm very new to like manual film.
Yeah.
Um, I don't even have an official medium format camera. The Pentax 6.7 is something that I will like rent out from like Photodom in Brooklyn.
Okay.
I've also used the Mamiya as well, and I'll also use a point and shoot. and I have my own manual camera that I'm like still working through. But yeah.
Okay. Um, so you're mentioning how your work is very intentional and very thought out. So one thing that I appreciated when I first saw your work is the color and the grain and the emphasis or consistency, I guess, with your subjects. You shoot primarily Black individuals, Black women in particular. So I'm curious, what exactly is the reason that you think it's the most important for you to be telling their stories?
Funnily enough, I didn't realize I was like mainly focusing on Black women until like a friend brought it up to me. She like DM'd me and was like, "I love how you take photos of Black women," and I was like, "So true," but like I don't like. It wasn't like I'm gonna intentionally shoot only Black women. I think I was just like I'm gonna shoot Black people for the most part. I personally just like to see art that's Black.
Yeah.
Um, and like when you use like apps like Pinterest or whatever, and I want like inspiration, or I'm just looking for like art in general, I always look towards like Black art.
Yeah.
And like if I'm doing a hairstyle or I'm trying to like do an outfit, I want to kind of see myself in it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that if I'm gonna make art, I'm gonna make it Black. I think growing up, like I didn't see myself represented, and this was back then when it was really hard to be dark skinned. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, if I can like put out my own work, it's gonna be Black. It's gonna be dark skinned. It's gonna be all the things that I didn't see. And I think that when you don't see media of yourself, it can cause you to feel inferior. I don't know if
Yeah.
you've seen like the doll tests where like the Black kids kind of feel inferior and think that the white doll is like prettier.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
Yeah, I
the
remember seeing
media
that.
is like people don't realize it, but like really shapes your mind. And now it's even more like in our face. We're on our phones 24/7. It's like if I'm gonna put out photography, then let it be like people who look like me.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's very fulfilling to be positively contributing to seeing Black faces properly photographed and everything too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to like have fun with it. But I just like to make what I like to see. So
Yeah.
if I'm checking for a photographer, I more like check for if they're shooting Black people. It's just a preference.
Yeah.
So
And you were born in Queens, you
yeah, I
said?
was born and raised in Queens.
Okay. And you currently live in the Bronx, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Could you talk a little bit about growing up in Queens and that life? You mentioned a little bit about how you felt when you were younger, but could you speak more to your upbringing for us?
Um, uh, all I knew was Queens for a while. I think I only moved 2 times. I moved during the pandemic. Um, but growing up in Queens was pretty calm. I honestly like my parents work hard. I can't say I struggled like much. If there was any struggle, my parents made sure we didn't feel it. Um, yeah, like there wasn't a lot of like um it wasn't abundantly Black. I lived in a very like Hispanic community,
Hmm.
but I still had friends like in high school who were Black, and like different jobs that I would work, I'd make friends. So I wouldn't say it was like I was super isolated, but it
Yeah,
wasn't like abundant like in certain areas of New York, because like New York is really segregated.
that is true. Do you think it was hard to find your culture in your community growing up?
What I will say is that Queens isn't super African. Like if you go to Harlem, like 116, it's like super concentrated, like
Hmm.
West African. Certain parts of like Brooklyn as well, the Bronx. So not growing up in those areas, I don't have an abundance of friends that are from like my same culture. Now I have more, like for sure, just from like college and like taking photos. But growing up, I didn't have an abundance of African friends. Most of my friends were Hispanic. Like they spoke Spanish. They were Dominican. They were like Puerto Rican. They were Mexican. Um, yeah,
Mhm. And you have siblings, correct?
yeah. I have two younger siblings.
Okay. And I think you told me before your parents were born in Mali, correct?
Yeah, I mean, my mom was raised in France,
Okay.
and my dad was raised in Senegal, but we're all ethnically Malian.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is very unique to that culture that you see in your, or you feel and live through in your like daily life?
Um, I mean, in my daily life,
Or just in general? I mean, like,
generally, I try to. I think it just comes natural to me. It's not something that I'm like, I'm going out of my way to wear like a gele or something. It's just
yeah.
like I braid my hair. I'm not like one to wear wigs or anything. This is very like obviously African. I'll do my henna sometimes. I'm also Muslim, so I pray every day. I'm very just like this is the norm. This is how I grew up, and it's not something to be embarrassed of. It's just my reality. It's how I
Yeah.
grew up. So
Very proud of it.
yeah.
Hmm. And in your jewelry, though, that's very heavily based on that culture, though, correct?
Yeah, for sure. With the jewelry, I decided to make waist beads in like during the pandemic because it was a hobby. Most times it's a hobby, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just put it out, and people are
Hmm.
like, oh, like, can I buy it or can I book with you? And I'm just like, whoa, it's a hobby.
Like, all right, cool.
But I've learned to like embrace both jewelry making and photography, and yeah, I think that I really like being able to make my own designs, but also like keeping that the original meaning,
Hmm.
Um, originally, like waist beads are like a feminine adornment that you wear. You usually are not supposed to show them, like you're supposed to hide them, and um, yeah, it's like a sensuality thing for the most part.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I did not know that. So I want to speak a little bit about your creative projects that I've seen. What would you say is your favorite project that you've worked on so far? And could you tell us a little bit more about how you put that all together?
Well, honestly, I haven't put out much, in my opinion. Like I haven't flooded my Instagram with photos, but I would say my favorite so far is Fatima. Um, it's around my friend Fatima. Her name was actually Fatima, and it was one of my first intentional projects, which like I wrote down, and I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing. This is the concept. This is how we're gonna make things happen. Um, I Me and my friend collaborated on creating a vision. She did most of the design work and she modeled, and then we had other models. So it was actually like I think maybe like 7 models that day. So it was extremely hectic. I don't think I would do that again.
Oh wow.
We had like maybe like 4 hours in the studio. Um, we decided on pastel colors, but then really bold, contrasty colors for the clothing. Um, and I also had my friend do makeup, and the makeup was also really colorful.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was a hectic project, but I think it's the most successful one and the one that people like know that I've done it.
Yeah, that's the one that stood out to me the most by far. I liked especially the shots of Fatima is her name, right?
Yeah,
Walking down the stairs.
yeah,
Thought that was really compelling.
yeah. That's actually like right outside the photo studio. So like I intentionally like booked a studio just to take photos inside, and I like working in studios because I feel like I have more control. Like, okay, we have the lighting. I can like meter my light meter. Um, there's just more control. Like if you're outside, you don't know what could
There's a
happen.
lot of factors.
Exactly. But that was just like a last minute, like just in case these photos for whatever reason don't come out the way I like it, I'll do some street style photography,
Hmm.
and that's the one that blew up the most, to be honest. So
Yeah.
it kind of shocked me, but like I like the reception that it got. So it was very spur of the moment afterwards, where I'm like, I like the scenery right outside of Photodome, and yeah.
Why were you shocked that it was so people liked it
I
so
don't
much?
know because it was my first project, so I wasn't like
Well, that was your very
expecting
first project.
like my very first intentional project of like, okay, like we're gonna have a makeup artist, we're gonna have a hairstylist, we're gonna have a set designer, we're gonna have like all the moving elements of a true like production.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sure that gives you a lot of confidence in early success. Understanding that like, oh, this is my idea, and it comes together so well, and people support it very heavily.
Yeah, but I'm also like, it's so early. I only started to fully really take myself seriously like since August. Other than that, I've just been doing like photos of my friends and family for myself. I just scrapbook and put in my book. So it's only been since August that I've been like, okay, let me like actually be super intentional with it. And I just think that just one post blowing up isn't success to me. But if you can continuously like put out firework, um, that makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
But also it's like there are like a lot of like really amazing famous photographers who are getting booked and working on like magazines and stuff who don't have Instagram. Like now, granted, those are like older photographers who kind of have been in the game, but like the numbers kind of don't matter if you're not getting booked as much or if your art isn't being well received. But I would say like it's a good start. Like, and I'm happy with the reception I've gotten. I have like really supportive friends and family and just even strangers.
That's where it starts, though.
Yeah.
You know. So what are you currently working on then that you can share with us without giving away too much of what we can look forward to seeing from you?
Um, uh, Currently I'm working on this like bathtub shoot. I had the audacity to ask this studio owner if he had um space for me. He has like a bathtub that I saw because I did a music video for him, and he was like the lead photographer. And his friend was the director. And so in the studio, I stumbled upon the tub, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna like put that in the back of my head.
Like, I need that.
Yeah. A couple months after, I hit him on Instagram. I was like, hey, like, do you mind if I use your tub? And he was like, yeah, go ahead, like, knock yourself out. So that was like, I guess my second official, real. Okay, let's get a hairstylist. Let's get a set designer. Let's get the makeup artist. Let's get everyone together. I also got a videographer. But yeah, basically the theme is African sensuality. It's supposed to be like sexy, not too scandalous. But I just really wanted to work with like a big prop, and really work on like set design and creating my own world. I'm like, if I like put my money out for studio space, like I want to really like create a new atmosphere, and like a good photographer can make you think that like you're like in a whole other world.
That is true. Absolutely. So I guess maybe more waist beads because of the sensuality kind of thing, or
Yeah, I actually didn't get to shoot her in waist beads, even though I brought some. Like, it just wasn't making sense. That day was really hectic. I'm trying to like work on not having set be so hectic, because there's like a lot of moving parts. And as the director, you have to really know what you want. Um, but I'm not gonna like give myself too much of a hard time. It's still something that's super fresh to me. But I did have the African net sponge on set. So like I would have her like put it on her back like this because that's
nice.
typically how you like would wash yourself with an African net sponge. And yeah, I had like black soap and just like the things that like typically like West Africans use in their bathroom rituals.
And it's just you as the director. Do you have like an entire team helping you out? Because it sounds like there's a lot of moving parts going into every single shoot that you do.
Yeah, I mean, so as creative director, I'm like, I want to like oversee like every single thing, like every aspect in terms of like makeup, in terms of like set design, in terms of the video. Like, I want to be fully in control of everything because I have a vision in my head, and like I want to see that in my photo. And I feel like for me, like that's kind of like the main point, like of me taking the photo in the first place is like I need this vision to come to life like the way that it's in my head. And that's really kind of hard to articulate sometimes. So I think that maybe the most difficult part is really trying to express that on a mood board and having people understand that.
Yeah.
Um but it's coming along. I feel like the more work you put out, people kind of understand your vibe. So it's getting there.
I always say the hardest thing as a creative is to get the thought in your head tangible to other people because that's like the gap we're like bridging the entire time. Do you feel that?
Yeah. But also it's just like you're like kind of hoping that the work comes out the way that you want it to. Like sometimes it actually just doesn't come out the way you want it to and you might not like it. and you have to be okay with that, and you put like so much money and work in, and everyone like worked on these moving parts, and it's like this might not even get posted because it's not like what I wanted. And especially when you're getting paid, it's like you have to convince the person that I'm able to make something happen that isn't even here. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, definitely having the vision come out the way you want it is tricky, but I'm also just learning to embrace not having something exactly the way I want it to in my head.
Yeah. So, in a perfect world where you have unlimited resources, who is your dream muse and dream project, and how would you go about like creating the entire shoot behind that?
Dream muse. I would say my dream muse is Beyonce because I feel like that's like when you know you made it. Um, and there's like a lot of photographers who I don't know, like your career just it goes up. If you like have Beyonce on your resume, it's like, you know.
Oh, that's a flex.
So that'll be some time, but I would say Beyonce. And concept wise, I don't know. Like right now, I like have maybe 3 concepts in my mind for like the next coming months. Um, so I kind of have no idea what I would do, but I want it to be big. I'd want like a really nice set. Yeah, that's kind of daunting though. It's Beyonce, so I don't know.
Well, I'm sure when you meet her, the ideas will come and everything will come out perfectly.
Hopefully, we'll see.
It was a pleasure speaking with you, and I look forward to seeing your continued success. Thank you so much for coming here, and yeah, that's it.
No, thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Third Layer Creative Series. If you are someone who wants to be profiled, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, DM us. We look forward to hearing from you.